are coming from two important vertical of industry, which represents of prime importance for us in this time of pandemic. So Shri Vinod Kumar ji comes from the health sector. He's an expert of the health sector. He is a resource person with CAHO, and he's also facility management expert, consultant with Rajgiri Hospitals in Kochi. He has implemented lot of national and international projects across India and abroad in green building of hospitals as well as other facilities. So we want to hear from you. If we take up the health sector today, it is choking because of the pandemic. But this is not the end of the journey. We are sure that health sector has so much of contribution towards environmental pollution, the climate footprint. What is the opportunity do you think hospital sector has towards the eco-restoration call of today? Over to you, Vinod, sir.
So thank you, KTG. It's a pleasure to be on this panel, and it's a great day on this occasion of World Environment Day. Seeds of Sustainability, especially KTG and the esteemed people sitting together to come together for a common cause, and I'm proud to be part of that. Can I share some slides, KTG?
Sure, sir.
Is it visible?
Not yet, it will just be coming. Yes, sir, it is visible now.
Let me take you through a few slides and how a hospital is done, how the systems are functioning, and how it can be an important aspect of restoration. Let me take the case of Rajgiri Hospital, where I am the FMS consultant, and how the systems have been installed, operated, and what we could do to help ecology restoration. Now, when you talk about a climate smart hospital, it's the need of the hour, because at the moment with this pandemic, we are looking for a large expansion in the healthcare sector, because we need more ICU beds and we need more ventilators and we need more hospitals. So obviously, if you look at a hospital, it's a very complex system because it has got various activities happening at one point of time, and thereby it becomes a very energy consuming system. So the need of the hour is to have a system or a hospital to be very smart, which thereby reduces the amount of greenhouse gases and also will have a very good system of energy saving and reducing the cost of resources. This should start right from the design through the construction and through the operation of the hospitals, whereby you are able to reduce the consumption of energy to a large extent. If you look at the right side diagram, you can see for the large power consumption a hospital takes, majority goes for air conditioning. And without air conditioning, many parts of the hospital, you can't run the hospital. So how do we do it? We need to be very clear in what we do. So the energy, the operation, the opportunities that the hospital has is to start energy modeling from the stage one, whereby you design the architecture of the building and the engineering systems with an energy efficiency mode itself right from the beginning. Once you construct it and hand over to the operators, they need to operate it correctly. Now, how do you do it? You need to have monitoring system. With monitoring system and with a lot of awareness among the staff, only then your system will work to what you have designed for. Because if you look at a hospital, as I can give you the example of this Rajgiri hospital, where there are almost 2,500 staff, of which almost 1,000 of them are nurses. And there are other staffs like housekeeping, doctors, technicians, bedside attenders, engineers, etc., etc. So various kinds of people work in a hospital. So implementation is also very difficult. So that's where we need to have a proper system and audit process. Other opportunities that you can plan for converting a hospital to become efficient is the air conditioning system should be set for or devised wherein it is highly efficient. It is having a low global warming potential. Thereby, you can save energy, save the earth. Second is try and incorporate different kinds of cooling and ventilation system, because cooling is mandatory, ventilation is mandatory. You cannot remove these from a hospital. It is mandatory part to run the hospital. You need that. So the approach is to reduce the cooling load by capturing or whatever energy that is going out of the hospital in terms of ventilation. You should have systems where you can have heat exchange done and capture the cooling from that air that is being ventilated. Plus, nowadays you have renewable power. You can go for solar thermal system, which can actually provide hot water for absorption chillers, which can cool the building. Huge amount of electrical cost is being reduced. So these are some of the methodologies the new hospitals or the changes that the hospitals can look at. Coming to water saving, we need almost like 600 to 800 liters per patient per day in a hospital. So a 1,000-bedded hospital, you can feel the amount of water needed every day. 600 into 1,000, at least 6 lakh liters of water per day to run the hospital. So it's a huge system that you need, and it's not supply every day. You need always a storage backup for at least minimum 1 day. International standard says you need a storage backup for 3 days in case there's a problem. So the systems that you design, the systems that you replace in an existing hospital should have water saving features. For example, dual flush closets, water saving taps, urinal sensors for all the urinals, low flow shower heads, etc. Now, as we have huge water requirements for the operation, where does all the wastewater go? 6 lakh liters will again come back as waste. Now, putting that into a main drain is normally being done in many hospitals in many cities. But if you have your own sewage treatment plant, the 6 lakh liters can be treated. You can have ultrafiltration, bring down the quality, the BOD of the water to less than 3 and make it usable for the toilet flushing. You can use it for the makeup for the cooling towers. You can use it for your horticulture, irrigation, any kind of green cover that you can do, thereby reducing the use of groundwater for all these requirements. Plus, other methodology is to have water meters at the incoming from the main tanks as well as the major users in the hospital. The laundry uses a lot of water, the kitchen uses a lot of water. There you put in meters and have a strict measurement policy. You have a rainwater harvesting policy. All these are available in this hospital. The reject water, the AC condensate water, all that are collected. These amount of water that you collect and reuse, thereby your dependence on the groundwater gets reduced. Coming to the refrigerants that are used in the air conditioners as well as refrigerators, they should be ozone friendly, like R134A, R407C, etc. Another major part of a hospital is the housekeeping. They use a lot of cleaning agents. Now, are they environmental friendly? It has to be. This is what we have. Diverse products are used which are eco-friendly, biodegradable, and also protects the housekeeping staff. Now, the design of a hospital. It's very important that the architecture and the engineering design plays a major role in the hospital's energy consumption as well as energy saving. For example, look at the left picture and the right picture. There is a lot of natural light coming in because the architecture has allowed for large windows. These natural lighting that comes from windows enable you to reduce the use of light during the day. Similarly, you can look at the pictures where the corridors are wide enough, having windows at all the point possibilities, and the partitions have the upper portion with glass, whereby the light is carried on to the inner part of the building because of this particular architecture and interior design. So natural lighting and natural ventilation brings down the load for the through the electrical consumption reduction. One more thing is ICUs with natural lighting helps the patients to come back to normalcy quickly after their surgeries. So these are all part of the architectural needs of a hospital, making it environmental friendly. Here, when you look at we did speak about the air conditioning. It is a major power consumption for a hospital. The air conditioning plant has to be designed and selected for very high efficiency, as low as 0.5 kilowatt per ton. I'll just give an example. These air conditioning water-cooled chillers that we have in the hospital, the centrifugal chillers, they run at very low power consumptions as close as 0.5. So it takes only 0.5 kilowatt to give you 1 ton of air conditioning. A split air conditioner takes almost 1.5 kilowatt to give you 1 ton. A VRF system takes almost 1 kilowatt to produce 1 ton. So you can see the various kinds of air conditioners. Select the air conditioning which is the best one for your hospital. The pumps, the air handlers, all of them should have the motors which are high efficient. So your procurement policy of the engineering product should be that I need motors with high energy efficiency. Give me a minute, please. Similarly, you use hydropneumatic system where you need water supply to the building at every point of time. This is another system which is energy saving. The control valves on your chiller plant will also help to reduce the power by 40% because it has minute level of water supply into the air handlers, thereby reducing the power. Now we have a lot of air being exhausted into the atmosphere because of ventilation. Now they are all cold air, chilled air. Now we can actually use heat recovery systems, plate type heat exchangers in the treated pressure AHUs, thereby capturing some of the cooling that is being sent into the atmosphere because of the process required. Another important part is your air conditioning chillers. Now, air conditioning chillers, the tubes inside the chillers are to be cleaned regularly. Our chillers have auto tube cleaning system which cleans them so that there is less amount of scaling and higher amount of heat exchange. Higher amount of heat exchange means you are having a very good efficiency. The chiller is the heart of the air conditioning system. Keeping them properly in a manner that it gives you a very high energy efficiency is because of such systems called the auto tube cleaning system. Another important part before I close is you should have an automatic control plant or a control manager, chiller plant manager for your entire chiller plant, which is automatically managing the system to ensure that every change of varying load from your building is met with the highest efficiency. Last but not the least, the cooling tower selection. The cooling tower is an important part of your HVAC system. This is where the heat is rejected from the building to the atmosphere. If they are CTI certified, Cooling Tower Institute of USA, they have certified the performance levels of special cooling towers. Such cooling towers are high performing. If the high performance cooling towers work properly, your energy consumption is less. Plus, you should have proper audits, training at regular intervals, train all your staff who join new, even counseling at the patient level to optimize the utilization of utilities at the patient level also is important. This is being done as part of patient family education in the hospital. Waste being generated by the hospital is again very large, so you should have a very proper control, very good control of waste management, reuse of certain amount of waste like plastics that can be autoclaved, shredded and issued to factories that use those plastics for other production. So coming to the last but one slide is your procurement policy. You should replace all the items that are to be condemned which can be upgraded because they are not performing. This should be a regular policy of the hospital, and this is a policy of our hospital at Rajagiri, where there is a lifeline of every product, every item in the hospital, which is discussed in the condemnation committee, and the replacement process is already thought about from now until 5 years if the condemnation is at the end of 5th year, so that your finance, your selection of the product, everything gets in place and you are removing a product which is not performing very well or which is underperforming. So thank you very much. Hospital industry definitely is an important part of today's world. Looking at the pandemic, definitely we play a major role, but the energy consumption also has to be controlled. Some of these measures that are being utilized at this hospital have been shown in those pictures and briefings. Hopefully it will be an eye-opener to many of us. we do a lot of work to maintain the systems running up and up every day in the hospital, because as you see, the electricity bills are more than 50 lakhs per month. The water consumption is almost like 5 lakhs a day. So the consumption is more. So to control the consumption, to reduce the kind of consumption, and to recycle the the wastewater and waste, all that are part of our system. Thereby, we contribute a lot to saving the earth, and restoration is already in the process. So thank you. Thanks a lot, Kirtiji, for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mr. Vinod.